So here is a quick note about moving, rotating, and scaling objects. As you do this in the viewport, you will see that in the corner or in the lower part of the UI, we have the coordinates of that object. There's actually 2 locations where you will see this information. Here, and also in the coordinates tab of that particular object. The difference between these 2 sections is that, for example, if I go to the coordinates on the object itself, if I change this, you will see a live update in the viewport. But if I try to change it here, nothing happens until I hit apply. So that's one of the differences. And it also does just display different types of information. Here we get the actual size and scale of this object, but in the coordinates, we only see sort of the scale ratio, so scale X, scale Y, and scale Z. If I were to double one of these, you see it changes in that direction, and it actually updates the overall size here as well. So essentially, that's 2 ways you can change the size of this object. You can change it using the ratio scaling, or in the object tab itself, you can change it there, or you can do this in this section. Except if you try it here on a parametric object, let's type out 400 and hit apply, it actually scales all 3 sides proportionally. However, if this was an editable object, and you did the same thing, it would only affect the one side you do this to. So that's how that works. There is another mode which is quite useful. If I make a copy of the cube here, hold Control, click and drag to make a copy. You can do this in the object manager or directly in the interface actually. So if I just hold Control, click and drag, I make a copy. And let's say I wanted to know the overall size of these 2 objects together. Well, I would select both, right-click them and group the objects, or Alt-G on the keyboard for the shortcut. And you can see now that the size here just says 0. I don't get any size information directly because this is a null object, and you only get that information if you had the actual object selected. However, if I click back on the null and then go to size plus, now you can see I get the scale values, and it's combining these 2 objects together and displaying that information back to me. So if I were to move this out here further and go back to this, you can see the X size has increased because it's measuring from this point on this side all the way across, and the space in between to the other side, and we get the overall scale. So there will be times where you will want to do this to get the size or the actual size of your objects, especially if they are grouped in as null objects like you have just seen there.